Good afternoon. Unfortunately, I wish we had all invited you here for a nice cookout on the beach behind us with this beautiful view of Narragansett Bay. But unfortunately, we are here for what I call a reckless move by the current administration that is going to have a detrimental impact not only on the state of Rhode Island, but on our renewable energy quest up and down the East Coast, and stopping some of the momentum, quite frankly, that started here almost 20 years ago in 2007 with the vision and the courage to address Rhode Island's energy needs and all of the hard work that went into building an offshore wind industry from scratch with both Republican and Democratic administrations over the last 20 years, specifically in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. And the hard work that has gone into this from our leadership that was standing with us here today, from our congressional delegation, Senator Reid, Senator Whitehouse, Congressman Magazina, Congressman Amo, back Congressman Langevin and Cicilline, Governor Raimondo, Governor McKee, all of the hard work and efforts that brought us to this point in time where we've got a massive energy project offshore right now that is 80% complete, employing hundreds of tradesmen and women currently, that we are counting on delivering almost 700 megawatts of power to our much needed grid here in Rhode Island, and all the uncertainty that's come with this reckless maneuver by the current administration on Friday. And to say a word that the current president uses in the White House, I'll say that maybe some of the leaders behind me can't say, this is bull right now. This is bull on what's happening with the hard men and women that have dedicated a lot of time and effort and training to go out in a very difficult environment to build this very complex offshore wind project. So we're here to say the biggest little state in the union. I have a saying, we are small but extremely sophisticated. Rhode Island is the birthplace of the offshore wind industry, and I believe it's going to be Rhode Island that's got to send a message today with who we've assembled here this morning that this is our future, this is our energy future, this is what we need so that we can continue to provide reliable, cost-effective, by the way, energy for the citizens of the state of Rhode Island and the New England region. So with that, I'd like to call on who I've worked closely with over the last almost 6 years to make sure that we've implemented training programs through the Community College of Rhode Island, that we've worked with Commerce to develop the supply chain, that we've made sure that we've been inclusive in our recruitment through building futures and apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship, and have checked all the boxes on why we're here today as Rhode Island is the leader in the offshore wind industry. And he's been with us every step of the way. That's Governor Dan McKee. Governor.
I thank everybody standing behind us and in front of us that is reacting to this notice that we received on Friday to stop the construction on Revolution Wind. And it's here today working with a level of union leadership that is reflective of what exactly Mike was just talking about. Labor is New England region and local 271. Ironwork is local 37. Electricians, local 99. Carpenters, Southern New England and local 330. Painters, local 195 and District 1. District Council number 11. I also want to give a shout out to the Building Futures, to CCRI presidents here, talking about the apprenticeship programs that we put in place, and the many advocates here today that are here standing up to a directive that is problematic. Let's cut to the chase. The latest move by the Trump administration is an attack on Rhode Islanders. It's an attack on our jobs. It's an attack on our energy. It's an attack on our families and their ability to pay the bills. And we really need, I really want President Trump to understand that. This is about our jobs. The men and women are here in the trades have heard me say this more than once. Jobs. Can I be any clearer? Jobs. Revolution Wind has already created over 1,000 union jobs. And when we are talking about jobs, we don't just mean construction. Right here in Quonset, Ørsted has operations and maintenance center that will be supporting jobs for as long as the turbines are generating power. And let's not forget the ripple effect. Revolution Wind workers will be participating in and supporting local businesses and our economy over the long term. This is an attack on renewable energy, our own energy, generated right here in New England. Rhode Island doesn't have oil wells. It doesn't have easy access to natural gas. But what it does have is this. We're the ocean state. And we want to make sure we use the full benefit that the ocean brings us. We have an ocean in our backyard. We have solar over our heads, and we have the energy of wind moving between the two of them. Energy we can harness to power homes and businesses. Energy that is renewable. Energy that is clean and in line with our climate goals. I hear from constituents all the time that energy costs are too high. People are struggling to pay their utility bills. And energy costs are going to continue to be a burden on our businesses and our residents if we don't do something. Revolution Wind is not a dream. Revolution Wind is a reality, and it's 80% complete. Let me repeat that. It's 80% complete. Rhode Island and Connecticut are counting on this energy to bring down costs for our residents. This project alone, the kilowatt cost is under 10 cents. Last winter, our kilowatt cost was closer to 15, 16, 17 cents. This is going to make a big difference for our state. Both Rhode Island and Connecticut already have a 20-year purchase agreements in place for the energy. About an hour ago, just before I spoke to Governor Lamont, he held a similar event to this one in Connecticut to share the same message that you're hearing here today. Between our two states, Revolution Wind is anticipated to power over 350,000 homes. This project has been in works for years, long before I became governor. Stopping now, that's like running a marathon and sitting down the moment you see the finish line ahead of you. Makes no sense. Stopping just short of the finish line is a direct hit on Rhode Island, a direct hit on our jobs, our economy, and our families. Let's talk about Ørsted for a minute. What kind of message is the Trump administration sending to international companies or any company who want to invest in our economy? Ørsted reports through its American projects it has already invested $20 billion in the U.S. supply chain. Here's an example. Ørsted new server operation vessel was built in the shipyards of Louisiana. We toured that vehicle right here in Quonset last year. Mississippi and Florida, with components sourced from 34 states, from Alabama to West Virginia. This isn't just about blue states. This reckless policy decision is not just a policy decision here in Rhode Island. it feels personal. Our jobs, our energy, and our families will all be negatively impacted if this stoppage does not end, and it should end now. Everyone here today is united in pursuing every possible avenue to get this critical project across the finish line. And again, jobs. J-O-B-S. Jobs. That's what's at stake right now. In Rhode Island, what's at stake is creating the jobs, putting people to work at good paying jobs that are going to pay dividends, and that work will pay dividends for decades to come. That's what's at stake. Let's make sure our voices are heard, not only here in Rhode Island, but in Washington, D.C. as well. Thank you so much. Now, we can't get into all the things that are happening in Rhode Island done without our congressional delegation, and it's an honor to introduce Senator Jack Reed.
We are all standing here together for jobs, for our climate, for the cost of living to the average working family so they can get by. And what's standing against this? Well, as the governor and Michael said, a reckless, irresponsible decision by the president. We are on the side of the people of Rhode Island. He is on the side of big oil companies and so many others that I would name, but the list is too voluminous. This is reckless. This project is 80% completed. There's no turning back. What does he want? 45 towers in the middle of the Long Island Sound, sort of a symbol of his power. They're inert, inactive.
Just like him.
Absolutely right, thank you. Well, we're not going to let this happen. We're going to do all we can to fight back. And we're proud here to be with all the union labor people that have made this project so successful. On cost, on budget, on time, you know, the kind of professionalism that you all exude. So we're very proud of you. But this is going to hurt us so badly. The loss of the jobs immediately. People went to sleep on Friday night, and guess what? Didn't have a job Saturday morning. Didn't have health care. Didn't have this, didn't have that. So it's jobs, but it's also the affordability of our energy so that we can go and a family can get by. This is going to raise the price of energy. That might be the rationale for it, because all that goes into the pocket of big oil and others. Now, the Trump administration claims that he stopped the work because the project raised national security concerns. The Department of Defense approved this project on December 13th, 2024, after a very careful review. It's not about national security, it's about the president's insecurity. Now, you know what is a threat to our national security? Oil that is controlled by OPEC and foreign countries that have animosity towards us, and we're letting them set the price that we must pay. That's a national security issue. So we're here because this makes sense economically, it makes sense in terms of our climate, it makes sense in terms of our future. It's just, again, absolutely reckless what the president has done, and we'll do our best to turn around. Now, I want to thank LIUNA and AFL-CIO everyone for coming together. Our climate advocates, thank you too. And with that, I'd like to pass the baton to my colleague and friend and a great advocate for the climate and everything else, Sheldon Whitehouse.
Well, the governor said this feels personal, and it does. Some of us have been working since the early days of Deepwater Wind, when Grover Fugate and Jen McCann were first figuring out how you could site offshore wind in America. And when Rhode Island solved that problem, a whole industry developed with wonderful paying jobs. And now one person in the White House running a political errand for the fossil fuel industry is trying to knock that down. He can try, but he will not succeed. This is a blow to Rhode Island. It is a deliberate blow, but it's also collateral damage. We're just in the way of this president wanting to serve his fossil fuel donors who gave him hundreds of millions of dollars so that they, an industry in distress, a polluting industry, a high-cost industry, can eke out a few more years against their cleaner, less expensive, clean energy competition. There used to be a day when Republicans said government should not go into the marketplace and pick winners and losers. But when their fossil fuel donors want to use government's boot to stamp down a rival that is exceeding fossil fuel, that is displacing fossil fuel, that is cheaper and better and cleaner than fossil fuel, they go right to government. And Trump, with his pockets full of fossil fuel money, is only too happy to oblige. We will find out, I suspect, what the cost is. When he pulled this stunt in New York, the cost was that the governor had to clear a couple of pipelines. For who? Oh, right, for the fossil fuel industry, of course. And then empire went forward. So we are in, I think, the opening stages of what in my law enforcement days I would have referred to as extortion. And as a student of history, I will certainly refer to as what the founding fathers would have called corruption. This is not on the merits. This is not legitimate. We are taking a real blow as a result of fossil fuel industry corruption dictating to the Trump administration what they should be doing. And what I hope very much from this gathering is that labor around America sees this choice. These projects offshore were done with project labor agreements, with support from labor unions, with labor jobs, well-paying labor jobs, with talented people at work making all this happen. And the choice between extending fossil fuels' useful life a few years because it gives money to Republicans and supporting this remarkable new technology and the labor force that supports it, they made that choice. And labor around the country, I hope, is bearing witness to what is going on here. So thank you for calling us together. This is important. I just have to have a scientific moment. I'm sorry. My wife is a marine scientist. The amount that fossil fuel is heating the oceans every year is 14 zettajoules. That has 21 zeros after it. It's like 30 times the entire energy consumption of every person on the planet. Fossil fuel is destroying our oceans in real time. The oceans give us a way to save them by using offshore wind to offset the fossil fuel pollution. This is our chance. Let's make sure we fight hard together. I'm glad to be here, and particularly glad to introduce Seth Magaziner, who represents this area.
By stopping the Revolution Wind project, Donald Trump is putting America last. He is putting American workers on the unemployment line. He is raising Americans' energy costs, Rhode Islanders' energy costs. And who is he helping? Our enemies. He's helping Vladimir Putin. He's helping China. He is helping our adversaries instead of helping Americans. What do I mean? We are in a race with China right now on AI. We need to build data centers. Electricity production is going to determine who controls the course of the world over the next century. And he expects us to fight this battle with one hand tied behind our back by blocking American-made energy from reaching the grid. If we're not able to access affordable, clean, American-made energy that has already been built offshore, where are we going to go? Saudi Arabia? Russia? By driving up the demand for oil instead of American-made clean wind power, he is helping to fund Putin's war in Ukraine. He is helping our adversaries at the expense of American jobs, of American energy independence, of American affordability. Those are the stakes here. Yes, this is about Rhode Island and making sure that Rhode Island has cheaper energy and better paying jobs, but it is also about making sure that America can compete. And for us to compete, we need more affordable, clean energy like Revolution Wind, not less. I have been in touch with my colleagues on the House Natural Resources Committee. They understand the seriousness of the situation. They understand that if this illegal, wrong-headed stoppage is allowed to continue, it will not just hurt offshore wind in Rhode Island, it will hurt clean energy production across the entire country because it sends a chilling message that the United States government under Donald Trump does not honor its word. And that is a killer for development, that is a killer for business across the entire country. So we have members of Congress from across the entire country who are prepared to mobilize on this. I know that organized labor is prepared to mobilize across the country on this. The environmental groups are mobilizing across the country on this. So Rhode Island is not alone in this fight. There are a lot of people out there who have our backs at this moment because they understand that what happens here matters across the entire country. And to the Rhode Islanders who are watching, I hope that the message that this sends to you today, with the governor, with my colleagues in the delegation, with our union leaders, with state legislators, everybody who's here today, I hope the message that it sends is that you know that we will fight for you. To the tradesmen and women of Rhode Island, we will fight for you. To the Rhode Islanders who are concerned about how to heat their homes and keep the lights on this winter, we are prepared to fight for you. For the businesses, the manufacturers who need lower energy costs, we are here to fight for you. And for the Rhode Islanders who care about the future of our planet and combating climate change and having more good tomorrows, we are here to fight for you as well. We are in a fight at this moment, but we are in it together, and we are going to win. And I am so glad to be in this fight with my colleague in the House of Representatives from Rhode Island, Gabe Amo.
Let us all be very clear. This stop work order is not about one man, one administration. It's about the hundreds of union workers being told to stop working, and to the families of those workers who rely on hard-earned paychecks to help them pursue that elusive American dream that is further away today. It is about the hundreds of workers who are ready to be the next generation of labor leaders. It is about those credentialing programs at CCRI and offshore wind engineering programs at URI. Students who are investing their time and energy in a career. And let's be very clear, a career in offshore wind. It's about the future of Rhode Islanders and all the families across New England who are going to face rate hikes if a critical union-built energy source of reliable, affordable power is delayed. This is also very critically, as you've heard from my colleagues, it is about ignoring our climate crisis, and it is a clear attack on our state's pathway to a clean energy future. So this might not be about one man, but this focus is driven by dastardly actions from that one man. It has to be about who is harmed. It has to be about the union workers who were kicked to the unemployment lines. It has to be about the families who will be facing higher energy bills this winter. And of course, the years the blood, sweat, and tears, the billions of dollars of investment in a nearly completed project. Let's be clear again. This project must go on. And so this force of strength you see will be replicated until the job is done. We're not going to stop. We can't afford to stop. Our future, our economy, the people who we care about most in the world depend on our efforts. And so we're not going to let any president, any administration increase energy costs, force workers to the unemployment lines, make it harder to get by when we know it's tougher than ever. So I'm proud to stand alongside these leaders, but I say again, we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going, we're going to keep fighting, we're going to keep pushing because the lives of the people in our state and across our country depend on that effort. So let's keep going. And with that, I want to introduce a great leader in ensuring that we have the workforce needed to keep this work going. Rachel Miller, the Chief External Affairs Officer at Building Futures.
I am here, and Building Futures is here for a singular and urgent reason. Rhode Island must grow its construction workforce. We have the largest age group in Rhode Island working in construction is 55 plus. Between folks retiring and the demand of new jobs, we have an expected 25,000 openings by 2032. Building Futures takes that on in two ways. So we train men and women for careers in construction through our pre-apprenticeship program. We ensure that people experiencing poverty and people who need opportunity connect to outstanding careers that reward hard work, raise incomes and standards for families and for whole communities. We also work with employers who are committed to the registered apprenticeship model. That's the path. We build our workforce one project at a time. Orsted has been an outstanding partner in understanding and recognizing that we absolutely must use registered apprentices as we build our clean energy future. They have been so committed that before a single cable was laid, they put their money on the line for a training program for Rhode Island workers. Building Futures worked with the members of the Building and Construction Trades Council and Orsted, and with support from the Real Jobs Rhode Island program, we trained over 220 people. That was a big investment. That was a nearly $1,950,000 investment before a single cable was laid on trainings like a week-long global wind organization, basic safety training, helicopter underwater escape training, medical trainings, and that was with just this project alone, not even to mention the work that CCRI did to stand up our own Rhode Island Global Wind Organization facility. So when we are talking about opportunities and we're talking about creating real pathways for families who need them, we're talking about the whole state, we're talking about our whole economy, and we're talking about our whole workforce. We can't afford to turn back on this investment. We can't afford to stop economic opportunities Revolution Wind has brought to Rhode Island and continues to bring to workers and their families. And we can't afford to miss this opportunity to build Rhode Island's construction workforce and raise Rhode Island wages. It's my great pleasure to introduce someone who graduated Building Futures Pre-Apprenticeship in 2009, became an apprentice and then journey worker carpenter with Local 330, and was recently working out on the Revolution Wind project to share his experience. Tony Vaz.
Thanks, Rachel. Good afternoon. Yes, I was out there last year. Great opportunity. Actually, my bag is ready because I was supposed to be leaving in 3 days to go back, but now I don't know what's going to happen, but all these people behind us, I have faith that they're going to make it happen, and I will be going out again. Well-paid job, and, like I said, great opportunity. Thanks to Building Futures. They put on tremendous training together with partnership with the carpenters. I was one of the first 8 rope access technician in America. Very proud of that. Training that was provided so we could go out there and work on that. Please guys, make it happen. We need to get out there and keep working. That's how we're gonna build America. That's my time. I'll introduce you guys to Patrick Carley.
You know, but most importantly, thank you to all of the tradesmen and women who are here today. You know, there are 1,000 jobs on the line right now. 1,000 good-paying union jobs. Jobs that are not only going to build this project, but are going to build a clean energy future for Rhode Island. And I don't know what that person in Washington is thinking, but I know one potential headline that I'm going to see in the future. Small man takes on small state, and small state wins. Because what Donald Trump doesn't understand is he did not just take on a Danish company or a project. He took on the entire state of Rhode Island. When you look at the people who are assembled here today, from all walks of life, from every single community, from working class to middle class, to making sure that our environment is safe and secure for the future. You know, this has nothing to do with the art of the deal. This is all about the art of the steal. And he's not just stealing this job from us. He's stealing our present, and he's stealing our future. But I have one last thing to say to President Trump. You want to take on Rhode Island? You're going to have to come through the people here. You're going to have to take on the entire labor movement. You're going to have to take on the entire people of Rhode Island. Because we're not going to sit down and take this lightly. We're going to fight you at every step of the way, no matter how long it takes. Because that's what Rhode Islanders do. So let's make sure that we send one complete message to Donald Trump, is that we are going to prevail. Thank you very much. Solidarity forever.
As you can see, there's one united front that's here behind us, and there's one united state in Rhode Island. And again, we've been at this for 20 years. It isn't by accident that we're the leader in the forefront of the offshore wind industry, and it's not going to be by accident, as my brother Crowley just had mentioned, that we will do everything humanly possible to make sure that we not only get this project complete, but we move on to other projects as we go forward to make sure that we've got our energy independence and we've got a clean, predictable, reliable, economical energy for the state of Rhode Island in the future. So thank you all for coming, and God bless you all.